Um, have you? Did you ever consider yourself a capitalist, uh, real estate mogul? What,
No.
what's your background from the '60s and '70s?
I worked in I worked in a lot of jobs, but mostly in the film distribution business. It's a fun job, doesn't pay a lot because everybody wants to go and look at movies for a living. And I did. I went to Sundance, I went to the Cannes Film Festival, Toronto, Tribeca. It was great. And somebody else was paying me until I retired. This is my retirement, and I've gone to the city and said, look, I don't like admitting this, but I'm 74 years old. I've got maybe 20 years left. And maybe I'll, be really, really lucky and die in my sleep. But what if I get sick? What if I need to sell my property because of, astronomical health care costs? Or my partner does? Then what do I do? You're making it impossible for me to do that because nobody's going to want to buy it except for lot value. Because they can't make much money if they buy it and leave it as is. So,
Are you alone in this situation?
No, this was a meeting that the city set up. There were two council people there, Adam Fish and Thomas Small, both of whom I know personally. As I told you, I supported Alex Fish, sorry. I had, his signs in my yard. And we met with the city attorney, Carol Schwab, the assistant city attorney, Heather Baker, Tevis Barnes, who's a housing administrator. My committee, my board, the mediation board, is under housing. So these were all people, Saul Blumenthal, the community development director, the city manager, the assistant city manager. We all met together in City Hall. And I was with, I think there were probably 7 or 8 other housing providers. There was someone from the Meadows. Most of the rest of us were mom and pops. And we asked for just some consideration. Let's compromise. Let's do means testing. Let's just help the people who need it. Let's do 2 tiers. I hate to contradict or to say I'm not like the Meadows. I don't have 700 units to amortize my costs out of. I have 5. And so let's do a 2-tier. And, I spoke to, I won't name them, but, some certain city employees, senior employees, maybe in housing, maybe in legal, said we're looking into that. We're looking into maybe doing 2 tiers. So the cap for the mom and pops would be a little bit higher than the cap for the big complexes. They can amortize their costs over way, way, way more income.
From 2% to 3% doesn't seem like that big a difference. How much of a certainly not to a renter. Well, they may see it if it's as you say, rent burdened, but in the large scheme of things, how much of a difference will it make in the real estate business for Culver City?
It's not 2% to 3%. It's the state cap, which is 5% plus CPI, to CPI, which is 2.7% right now. So the difference is between 2.7% and 7.7%, which is 5% plus CPI. That's a big difference for us. How much difference it is for all the people who have the money and are paying for these luxury apartments, I don't know. But that's why we want to do means testing. If anybody can come forward and say, look, I can show you my finances, I can show you my books, I can't afford that, then the RAP program would say, okay, we'll pick up the balance for you. But we're not doing that. It's just for everybody.
But you propose that the city would inaugurate it?
Well, we propose that they do means testing, and we propose that instead of having a separate rent control program, we used the same $1 million they're now going to use. I said, we can even do rental registration. I'll pay a registration fee every year that will go into the RAP program to help the people who can't afford their rent. But, 3 of my tenants own rental properties of their own, okay? One of them, who drives a brand new Mercedes convertible, nice fella, owns 4 houses up off the UC Davis campus that he rents out to UC Davis personnel. And he owns a condo in Long Beach. One of my tenants, the one who's been here for 27 years, owns a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Tacoma, Washington that they inherited. And another one, who's been here for 7 years, owns a beach house in Portugal on the beach and a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in northern New Jersey. She got moved out here by her company. She likes it here. She stays here. They're in a better situation than I am, to be honest with you. But and that's not uncommon.
That's a winning line right there. Rich, is there anything you'd like to ask her to touch on?
I like your personal story of how
Thank you.
I think you answered everything really well.
Thank you.
I think we got a good thing, don't you think? This is good.
What bands did you hear play in Jersey again?
I heard the Grateful Dead. I heard Janis Joplin.
Where did you hear the Dead play?
Oh, I'm sorry. They were at UCLA. In New Jersey, I saw Jefferson Airplane at Asbury Park Auditorium. I saw Janis Joplin at Asbury Park Auditorium. I saw Janis also at Queens College and also the Garden State Arts Center. Yeah, I think that was, oh, and the Rolling Stones. I saw the Rolling Stones in New York, Madison Square Garden.
Around when?
Ooh, 74, 75, something like that. It was before everything is, my daughter's born in 76. Everything is before and after.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So that was before. Yeah, I mean, been to the Forum, saw the Stones in the Forum, saw Jackson Browne in the Forum, been to Troubadour millions of times. I saw John Prine when he was second bill to Jackie DeShannon at the Troubadour.
He was the opening?
He was the opening act. I was a big fan. I also saw him I went to the Cambridge, England Folk Festival in 73 and 75.
Oh.
And he was there with Steve Goodman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who wrote Alice's Restaurant, didn't he?
He did. No, he wrote City of New Orleans. City of New Orleans.
Right.
Yeah.
Rich Arlo also sang.
Yes.
That's how I got. Right.
Yes.
That's
So yeah, that was. I was. I miss going to concerts and music venues, about as much as I miss traveling, and I really miss traveling. I mean, I've been to Greece now, probably 25 times. I lived there for a year, and I was supposed to go in June. And when my book comes out, I'll probably be promoting it there because it's set in Greece.
Is that the book with Leonard Cohen in it? What's it called?
Well, I called it Random Genuflections, and that's what I called it when I sent it to Leonard. But my publisher is calling it Leonard, Mariana, and Me. I think that's kind of prosaic, but it is in the contract that they could change the title.
And how does Leonard factor into it?
Oh, he was a really big influence when I first lived there in 1973. He owned a house on the same island, Hydra, and I spent a lot of time with him. He actually offered to send me to Clive Davis because I can sing, and I sang along with him on a lot of his songs. And he said, Judy, you sing as good as most of the backup singers that I've worked with. I can send you to Clive Davis. And I don't know whether it was fear of failure or fear of success, but I said, no, Leonard, I think I have to make it on my own. I really regret that. But no, I spent a lot of time with him and Mariana. That was the last year that they were together. And he already had, his son was already born, Adam. Suzanne lived with Adam in Montreal. And he came to Hydra. The separation between them was, and I discuss it in my book, was very gradual. I mean, people think it ended with Mariana, then it began with Suzanne, but there was a lot of overlap. And the summer of '73, when he spent a month on the island with Mariana and Axel, her son, was the last time that they were actually together as a couple.
Nice story.
Yeah.
Yeah. May we get some shots of the
Sure.
other residents that you're